Got it.
All right, here we are. It is gone past 30 minutes, past 6 o'clock. And of course, for Feel Good Friday, it is Tech Friday on Business Express. Joining me for the episode, you have come to expect the two voices for Friday. Rotus, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, Shockwave. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to Sayo.
And Fisaya Durjai, good morning. Great to have you on today.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Shockwave.
All right. To be here. Perfect. Okay, so for Tech Friday edition, we want your participation. It's going to be interesting stories all the way, so make sure you send your WhatsApp messages in to 0809 444 981. We are also streaming live up on youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. So go over there to watch the live stream and also to participate by leaving your comments on the live stream and hashtag Business Express 981 on Twitter. Tag us in as well at Rotancode at Smooth981FM. People, I'm excited about what we've got up for discussion today. Let's get straight into it.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, so quickly, see if we can get through everything. First of all, apparently, according to Reuters, Facebook and Instagram, Meta is temporarily allowing calls for violence against, I think, Putin and the leader of Belarus. Also in Nigeria, a company called Clump, buy now, pay later company, has raised about $780,000 in pre-seed funding. But there's a tweet by someone who was, saying that the model isn't very strong. And then Nigeria ranking pretty low in digital readiness, in a new digital readiness index that has just been released. So 10th in sub-Saharan Africa, like 124th globally. But let's start with Meta. Facebook and Instagram apparently are temporarily allowing calls for violence against the Russian and Belarusian leader. Fisaya, what do you make of that development?
I mean, Rotus, this is what we've been saying for over 3 years now, that this is absolutely irresponsible.
I'm listening. Thank you. Go ahead.
From Meta, from Twitter, from every social media, they have to decide. I remember saying this on this show before. Are you a publisher or are you a platform? Are you a marketplace or are you a publisher? That is the decision they have to make. If you're a publisher, it means you're responsible for the things said on your platform. If you're a platform, you are not responsible. So it means that you're not in charge. You can't be, what's it called? You can't be, censoring speech on your platform if you are a platform. But if you're a publisher, it means you're responsible for it. So when Facebook decides that, okay, I want to take down this tweet because, or I want to take down this post because it violates our terms and conditions. And then suddenly, calling for violence violates your terms and conditions, but somehow calling for violence against Russia is perfectly fine. But calling for violence against other people, I know that is not okay, right? It's about having principles and not just, making haphazard decision because of what you agree on or not. You see, when, the same thing happened here when I was talking about GoFundMe stealing the money that was donated to the truckers in Canada. It's the same thing. They were protesting something, but because you don't agree with the protest, you stole their money. But here in Nigeria, people donated to EndSARS movement because you agree with that protest. Because you agree with that protest, you didn't steal the money. It is just, it is, of course, it appears that, everyone seems to have an agenda in this whole matter. You have to decide if you have, a principle or not have a principle. Right, and that is what my issue with this is. So because you are in support of Ukraine, okay, so Israel, Palestine, because you're on the side of Israel. Oh, it's okay, for Israel to invade Palestine, but suddenly it's Russian invasion of Ukraine. So invasion is bad because it's Ukraine, because you're on the side of Ukraine. It's totally irresponsible. And I think that these platforms need to know what they are doing. You can't have this. These rules that are applied because based on your political agenda or based on your side of the story. You either let these things be or not. Don't touch it. You know,
All right,
but
so
hey,
here's a statement.
it's okay.
Here's a statement that they said, just real quick. So it says, I sent it to you on WhatsApp just now. I also sent it to Shopper on the Smooth FM WhatsApp platform. Well, Shopper, do you want to read it?
All right, let's have a look at this. Okay, so this is the statement that a Meta spokesperson came out with. As a result of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we have temporarily made allowances for forms of political expression that would normally violate our rules, like violent speech, such as death to the Russian invaders. We still won't allow credible calls for violence against Russian civilians.
So there's some context here.
Okay, sorry, Rotus. Till today, America has invaded Cuba, is in charge of Guatemala. Should I call for violence against the US? What are you talking about? It's totally irresponsible. It's double-sided. I mean, but they are in charge of Guatemala today.
That's not the same thing.
Okay, so Rotus, what do you think? Wait, hold on one second, Fisayo. Hold on one second. Okay, Rotus, you're saying that
they annexed a part of a sovereign country to today.
Let's hear your thoughts on this. Fisaya, hold on one second. Rotus?
Yeah, so it's not. I want to get to other stories. It's not the same thing as, I mean, every time people bring this up, for some reason, they just keep going back to things that happened in the 60s.
No, this is 2022. Rotus. They've annexed, okay, Russia annexed Crimea, but today, US has annexed Guatemala. I mean, Guantanamo Bay, sorry. You know, Guantanamo in Cuba.
Guantanamo Bay
is annexed by the US still today.
Yeah,
from
but
Cuba.
Annexing a place is not the same as literally.
Okay, so it's okay to annex Crimea.
They didn't bomb a hospital in Guatemala. They didn't bomb a children's hospital. They haven't killed civilians openly. So that this thing has context. So that's why it's not that black and white.
I'll put it under context. When the Afghanistan thing was happening, when US invaded Iraq because of so-called weapon of mass destruction that was never proven, that was never seen, did they allow violence against the US?
Listen, so at the end of the day, we've got messages.
That was different. There was a terrorist attack in the United States leading
killed 3,000 people. For invasion, the excuse for invasion was weapon of mass destruction that was never seen, that was never proven, that was never
there was an attack. But the US was attacked.
Fisaya, we actually have messages coming in. So give me a second so I can read it. Let the people have their say as well. So we've got this one in Benga Agomu, who says there should be a standard for dealing with everyone. It should not be changed or modified for some people. Allowing calls for violence against Putin isn't fair at all. Whilst Olatunde from Ikeja says the moment Putin invaded Russia, the old rules were off. No one has the luxury of sitting on the fence anymore. Even dear old Switzerland joined the fight on the right-hand side of history, says Olatunde, and says
the right-hand side.
And says America in charge of Guatemala. Oh no, he said it's Guantanamo Bay. He goes on to say, oh, same error. Whilst Yinka Bolu says, Fisaya is right, and remember when he said it. He also repeated it during the Ugandan elections. I hope we see what this war and rubbish sanctions, this war and the sanctions for what it really is. He goes on to say the Khashoggi murder is still fresh in our minds, yet they approved the sale of Newcastle. Saudi can bomb Yemen and get weapons from the United States, but Nigeria had to sweat and get weapons from the US. Israel can bomb Palestine and it's okay for Meta. Here's the thing, at the end of the day, when we're looking at the rules, it's about making sure that there is fairness and impartiality in any sense, in anything that you do. Any sort of lopsided justice, lopsided coverage. I mean, we have seen what went on with the coverage of the Ukrainian refugees. Anything that starts to show a sense of partiality is where issues start to come to play. But we do have other stories, and we've got like 5 minutes for them. Let's get on to them, okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah, real quick. So Nigeria, as far as digital readiness, Sarah, what do you think about the low ranking behind South Africa, Kenya, Mauritius in terms of digital readiness? There were some indexes that were used, ICT, research and development, and so on and so forth. What do we need to push forward here to rank higher as a country?
I mean, first, I think it has to do with education first. We have some of the highest numbers of out-of-school children, and of course, rather than solve the problem, some of the governors, even in Lagos, would rather take pictures with children carrying water, during school hours than to actually address what the challenges really are, about getting children back to school. Right, that's number one. Number two, I've told people that our best are not even the teachers. So if you think about it, the people that teach today, most people that teach today, I asked them, did you choose teaching, or teaching chose you? A lot of them, a lot of people, 90%, again, just put the numbers out, I chose them because they want to study medicine, but they didn't get into medicine. But of course, our education is open, so go into education, and that's how most people got into education, including the lecturers and professors that are teaching us today. Nobody really wanted to teach because, hey, it's probably one of the lowest paying jobs, but because you couldn't get in, to the university, you did NCE, then you become, a degree, that you did your master, then you become PhD, then you started teaching in university. That's how a lot of people got in there. So even our best are not in the teaching profession. So again, our children are not in school. Our best are not teaching them. Right, so it means that the awareness around technology is probably and all of that work is being done from the school system. And then of course the third one, which is around infrastructure. We still have some of the the lowest internet penetration across Africa. Again, people look at this thing from Lagos perspective, but it's not about Lagos. When you leave Lagos, when you leave Ogun State, when you leave Ibadan, what happens in other cities? Again, becomes a big worry. We're still fighting around right of way for broadband across the country. Those are real challenges that stop the digital readiness. And then of course from the regulatory perspective, I mean, M-Pesa leads the world in mobile money penetration. Kenyans are used to USSD type technology adoption. I'm not sure what Nigerians are especially leading at, or in anything, right? You will see companies that say they're a Nigerian company, they are actually a Lagos company, because it's Lagos that most of their market, or 90% of their market, really is. So again, I think that there's a lot to do, but to solve this has to be foundational, so from education, from infrastructure, and of course from regulatory perspective.
Well said. I don't know how much time we got, but very quickly, Fisayo, the clump raise, the $780,000 raise, and then this tweets from Olayinka Oluwakusi saying that e-commerce can't really work because the infrastructure is. I want to quickly get your thoughts there.
Yeah, I mean, so I tell people that buy now, pay later is lending, right? Is lending to people. So you remember back in the days, if you think that if investors think that they won't support payday lenders, because of default and all of the information, it's the same thing that BNPL is doing. Only saying that, okay, this time around, I'm lending you money to buy things you need. Not I'm just giving you loan. So formally, what happens is that I'll go on the platform, borrow money, then I'll take the money to go and buy what I want to buy. But here he's saying that no, at the point of purchase, I'm going to lend you the money to buy the things you want to buy. So that's the difference. Yeah. But because BNPL seems to be a global, is becoming a global, a global trend. Klarna, all of people are then pivoting to that. We're seeing that take up in Africa and of course Nigeria as well. So there are many BNPL players already. I can start mentioning names, but again, that's a purpose the thing. We have about I've seen about 3, 4, maybe 5 already that seem to be moving towards the direction of BNPL, buy now pay later, but essentially it's lending, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, so okay. Thank you so much. We've actually time is up, and so many messages have come in. Let me see if I can read a couple of them.
Spend too much time on Ukraine.
Oh, and people are still spending time on Ukraine up on the messages. But very quickly, Benga comment says on the issue of broadband, how far with the laying of fiber optic cables by the state government? Those guys digging up everywhere and laying those cables have disappeared without filling the holes that they dug up. By the way, so much for internet penetration. Whilst we've got this one, Goke from UK, who says from the UK, who says Russia is wrong to invade Ukraine, but 2 wrongs don't make a right, with reference to the invasion of Iraq and Libya, which the West is guilty of. And something that Yinka Buli said, who said Prince William recently made a statement that war is a normal thing in Africa and Asia, but alien to Europe. I've been waiting for Piers Morgan and Meta to descend heavily on him, but no. They are busy showing support for Ukraine. I wonder which continent it is that had the 100 Years' War and where World War I and II started. Because I know it wasn't Africa. or Asia, but it's okay, people. It's okay. And that is that for a Tech Friday edition, very impassioned edition of Business Express. Fisaya, thank you so much. And Rotus, thank you so much. Make sure you go over to Twitter. You can get their Twitter handles at Rotancode and Fisaya.
At Aremo Fisaya.
At Aremo Fisaya. And if you just need to go and find them, you can go through us at Smooth981FM, hashtag Business Express 981. Thank you, gents. Rotus, see you on Monday. And
see you guys. Thanks.
All right. Bye. And coming up at 7:30, it is going to be freshly pressed right here on Smooth Breakfast. Business Express, brought to you by Enter